Hello and welcome to another episode of the Be Fearless podcast. And let me tell you, today I'm so thrilled. Today our guest is a dynamic force behind the Goodman Insurance Solutions in Raleigh, North Carolina. She has 6 years of experience helping clients navigate the complexities of Medicare. She has built her agency from the ground up with grassroots marketing and a dedication to personalized service. She's licensed in multiple states. She empowers clients to make informed, confident decisions about one of life's most important choices, which is healthcare. Now, she is on a mission to expand her team and extend her agency reach, all while staying true to her commitment to exceptional care. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome the one, the only, Rhonda Goodman. Oh, hello.
Hi.
Hello. Oopsie. And there was like a little, I'm sorry. It was like a little hookup there. Hello, welcome to
Hi.
our show. I usually have an applause, but I don't know, having currently technical issues. Welcome to Be
Thank
Fearless
you.
Podcast.
I'm so glad to be
I
here.
am so
Happy to
glad
be
to
here.
have you as well. Yes. So tell us, Ronnie, what was your dream come like growing up? Who was Rondi Goodman growing up and what was her dream?
Good question, right? I grew up, I had a hard childhood. So many of us had, right? So I spent a lot of time reading books, okay? And then everyone in my family said, "You're going to be a writer. You're going to be a writer. You're going to be a writer." And you know what? I did actually become a writer recently. So
Yes.
that's exciting. But that I guess that was part of the dream. But my dream was always helping people because I needed I like the validation of when I help people, a smile on their face, and I felt like I did something and accomplished something bigger than myself, right? Like I
Hmm.
had my own problems growing up, and it was easier for me to focus on everyone else's stuff. So the dream was the book, and the book came out, in addition to starting my own business. So
That's fantastic. So, Rhonda, Rondi, you are in a very important in very unique kind of niche. You help people with health care decisions, specifically Medicare solutions. Talk to us a little bit about that.
yeah, it is really serious business what I do. So many thousands of seniors are turning 65 every day, having to make the decisions for their Medicare. And, not everyone can just understand that. I go to every year, I have to re up my education and pass tests. It's not willy nilly. And I'm very much there's a big brother over me, Social Security and Medicare, making sure that I'm doing the right job. So I have
Mhm.
guidelines to follow, and it's all business, right? But at the end of the day, this is a decision somebody makes with their heart and their stomach, right? So I have to break it down in a way that makes it palatable and easy to make a decision through education. And that's what I do. I give them education. I break it down really easily, really simply, so that the client and the seniors like, oh, I can make this decision because you gave me the information. I'm
Mhm.
not making the decision for them. I'm making it so they could do it themselves.
That's fantastic, and especially when there's a generation that is about to go into Medicare, which is Gen X, right? We
Right.
are a very big generation. Um, what do you think? Like, what is if you could like explain like in plain like simple English, what is Medicare? What is actually what does in our life? What is so important?
Okay, yeah, what is Medicare? Because I certainly didn't know what it was when I tried to help family with that. So Medicare is federally funded, and it becomes your health care at this point when you turn 65, or you've been on disability for 2 years, or there's something that happens to you, you get ALS or kidney disease. So most of us, or some of us, we worked during our lifetime when we paid payroll taxes, right? And part of that payroll taxes went to our Medicare. So we paid for part of it up front, and then the government funds the rest. And what it is your hospital coverage and your doctor coverage. It's all the things medical that when we're no longer working for an employer, right?
Hmm.
Provide that. Well, we paid for part of it and the government is paying the rest. And so are private health insurance companies as well, depending on what you choose. So it's your actual health care from when you retire from your job after 65 or when you turn 65.
Okay. And how did you simplify the process and help your clients feel confident on their decision?
So simplifying the process is really number one. So I will start from the beginning and I will explain, okay, you have to, when you're ready. So some people are 65 and they're still working and they don't have to get Medicare. But say they're 65 or they're 68 and they're done working, I show them how to get that Medicare card. I tell them how to get it. I tell them how to apply. So people going on it will get their A and B, their hospital and medical together, and then some people won't because they're still working. Then when they stop working, they come to me and I show them how to get the other parts. I'm walking them step by step. I even sit down with some people and help them apply online because you have to apply right now for it online through Social Security. I walk people through that. I'll do a Zoom where they come in the office. Then they get their Medicare. Then they need to add something to that because Medicare covers us for 80%. We have a 20% we have to cover either through a Medicare Part C or a supplement and a drug plan. And I really explain the differences so that by the time I'm done, they take their time and then they think about, I want to go this way or that way. I
Okay.
don't let anybody come to my office and sign up for those things. I want them to actually think about it and walk through it before they make the decision. The Medicare piece isn't a decision. You just sign up for it or you don't. But the things you're adding to it, you got to think about your wallet and your health care. And so I
Okay.
help people choose based on that.
Okay, so that's very important. Because I always have heard like the Medicaid A and B. I didn't know that there was just like 80% that was covered, and then there's another 20%.
Yes.
So, what you mentioned that there's like two options for to cover that 20%.
So option one, in no particular order, one isn't better than the other.
Mm-hmm.
Option one is you have your original Medicare A and B, and then you add what's called your Medicare supplement or Medigap. They're the same thing. The Medigap supplement covers that 20% that
Mm-hmm.
the Medicare doesn't. And then you have to add prescription drug plan alongside that because Medicare doesn't provide that. Because if you don't have prescription drug coverage when you're eligible, if you need it later, you'll get a financial penalty later.
Oh,
So that's option one. That option allows you to see any doctor in the United States that takes Medicare. If somebody travels or goes to another state for a few weeks at a time, it makes it easier to get their coverage. So that's option one. Option two is called Part C or Medicare Advantage. It's the same thing. So it includes your original Medicare in it, your A and B, and it also includes your prescription drugs in it if you need that, and it will cover some dental and some eyeglass coverage. That's the difference is that one's network based. So we choose a plan based on your doctors because if your doctors are not in that network, you don't want that specific company, right? So
yeah.
the Advantage is network based and the original Medicare with the supplement is no network. That's the major difference. Supplement though you pay for up front. Medicare Advantage has a zero or low premium and you're paying as you go with copays. With the supplement, you're paying a monthly cost and you don't have copays.
Let me ask you a question because I know there's with the economy and how everything is has been happening in the last 5 6 years. Um, have there any cases that you have come across where people cannot afford that extra 20%?
Yes. I mean, 20% of a doctor's visit's not a lot, right? 20% of a cancer diagnosis, that's wiping me out, right? Completely. So that's why they either choose to add the Medigap policy and pay for that monthly, because that's not going to wipe them out, but they're paying for that. Or they choose the Advantage plan and there's no 20%. It's just co-pays as you go. There's a
Okay.
cap on that one. But yes, that'd be difficult to pay for unless you have Medicaid and Medicare. Then you're not paying 20%. Like if you're in a certain income bracket,
Mm-hmm.
you could get Medicaid with Medicare.
So what's the difference between Medicaid and Medicare?
So Medicare care is the help, the health help. Medicare, Medicaid is aid from your state, financial aid from your state.
Okay, so we could say call it like one is like global, like from the federal side, and the other one is from the state.
State, yes,
Okay.
Medicaid is each state will help pay for the medical portion,
Okay.
depending on the state.
So it differs from the state.
Yes,
Okay.
the federal government will help the state, at least at this point. I don't we don't know how that's going to change, but before the federal government helped the state with some of the Medicaid, but the funds come through the state. It's handled through the state.
So besides helping your clients choosing a plan in providing them with all the information to make a proper decision in and also helping them with these challenges, what are all these challenges that you have come across when it comes to Medicare?
So the biggest challenge with the Medicare is when someone's chosen their plan and then they're mid-year and suddenly their cost of their prescription drug is a lot more than they thought it would be, right? Or they don't know what kind of doctor to go to for a certain pain, right? Or
Yeah.
their doctor went out of network, or there's a lot of things that go into it. And so I'm there all year. I take calls daily from clients. Why is the prescription drug this much? Well, I know, I look it up. Why? And then I can maybe find them a way to get it for less money with a coupon. Or if they're under a certain income level, I can find them a grant. So I'm providing service. Same with sometimes people want a dentist and they
Hmm.
have an Advantage plan. I go that extra yard and I'll search the dentist in their network and then I'll Google and see how many stars they got. And then I'll help them with a dentist. Or they'll get a letter of denial. People get denial letters all the time, right? From
Hmm.
insurance companies. Well, I'm able to figure that out because normally it's because the doctor coded it wrong, let's say, right? So I'm the answer lady for Medicare. I'm not just signing people up. I have a Medicare family and they become part of it. And they come to my office to hang out with me and ask their questions, or they send me pictures of their bills. I have people call me on the way to the hospital to ask me what that's going to cost them, and I know off the top of my head all the co-pays, right? So I'm able to say,
Hmm.
look, the most it's going to cost you is this, but I just want you to worry about being healthy, right?
Yeah.
Or they want to go to a certain gym. So which network has a gym? How can I get hearing aids? I could just easily give them the 800 number, but I will call the 800 number and set them up an appointment so that they can go get it done, right? Because they can't hear on the phone, or
Exactly.
I've had people call me from their doctor's office. They say they're not taking this plan. Well, they are. Let me talk to the person. So I become, the anchor for their Medicare. So I spend a great deal of my time doing service. So I have a lot of clients. So it's getting pretty overwhelming. So I did finally hire a full-time person that she's handling like booking all the annual enrollment appointments right now so that I can talk directly to my clients, right? And then
That's
what about
fantastic.
new people coming in, right? I
Yeah,
gotta be there for them. So
that's fantastic. So I love that you are definitely talking about this topic because we are like, you know, as a prior military and a still current service civil servant, we pay and we see that deduction on the payroll, and we keep paying, but when we are hired, it's just this like little just a little brief, I would say 10-15 minute talk about this Medicaid and Medicare and why they, how much they're going to deduct from your paycheck, and that's it. And you don't hear about we don't get educated enough in this topic. And I definitely admire that you are taking off your time and building a business on educating people on this topic because it's really important. But now that we have talked about, what is Medicare, most Medicaid, the differences and all this stuff and the challenges, now as and from the entrepreneurial side, what has been the most challenging part of building your agency, and what lessons would you pass down to other entrepreneurs in insurance or healthcare?
That's really great. I love that. I just want to say thank you for your service.
You're welcome.
And I work with a lot of military. So just, you guys have your own set of things for Medicare. But so when I started my business, it was it was the year before COVID. So I started, and in my business, you have to have something called an upline, a field marketing organization over you. And I chose to work with a family friend, and that did not work out. So you got to be careful with family friends when you do it. I love this person to death. They're fantastic, but it just didn't work out. So another family friend knew that was going to happen. So that person helped me, but I was in North Carolina and they were in New York, and they didn't know my market. And it worked the first year. But I realized, and now, like, when you go into business, you need a mentor, right? Someone you can have on speed dial, like to say, what do I do about this? Especially someone in your field, right?
Exactly.
So I did. So I moved and I went to a field marketing organization in North Carolina. And then they put me with a general agent who I wasn't working for. It wasn't my boss, but I could then ask him questions, because there's nothing worse than going to business not knowing how to answer people's questions. Because in my business, you just get thrown in. So I got thrown into I created a sole proprietorship. In hindsight, I should have went directly and done an LLC, which I did later. So when you're going to do this, you want to think ahead. What type of business setup? You need a business mentor for that, right? And I just hit the ground running too, like without any processes, without
Yeah.
any like spreadsheets, like, because I just wanted to help the people. I didn't have any management help, which in the beginning you can't afford it, right? You
Yeah.
just can't, but you need to bring in people that can help you. You got to
Yeah.
spend money to make money. So,
At the beginning, you are the secretary, the marketing person, the videographer, the graphic creator. You are everything.
everything. I I did join some female insurance groups on Facebook, and that was amazing because every year I would go to a conference and I would learn things, how to level up. And I went from 0 to 600 clients in 6 years, and I moved very fast because I hustled. I'm a hustler, and I want to help. I really want to help. It's not a one and done. I learned a lot of hard lessons, like the one about the hearing aids. Someone did ask me early in my career, can you help me get a hearing aid? So I gave her the 800 number. Well, I lost her as a client because another agent stepped in and said, I'll do that. And I learned very quickly, like, you can't just be about turn and burn.
Yeah.
You have to service what you have and grow. And that's what I've been doing. And now I hired someone full time who's found all these system errors, right? Like, that's what you're here for, to help create the systems. So think about your systems and think about, what you're going to spend your money on in your business, right?
Exactly.
Because you could spend thousands of dollars on leads and they can go nowhere. Like, if you're not if you're not going to be on the phone calling people, if that's not your thing,
Yeah.
you want to think about how you spend your money. That's why I started Grassroots.
I love that you said that because I also have a real estate. I have a real estate business on the side, and a lot of people tell me, "Oh, Dagmar, pay for leads." But I'm like, okay, but can you think about how many times they're selling the same leads to other people?
Yes.
And
And
then that's why you're not getting your ROI. Just like it's definitely and it definitely makes it better when you actually, like you say, go to the grassroots marketing. Just like, it might seem like outdated, but definitely not, it's not outdated. Like,
no, not at
if you
all.
how if you think about it, and you take, for example, every time that you go into an inbox, right? You go into your inbox in your home, you go into your inbox, and what's the first thing that you see? Like a packet like this, folded maybe, but a packet of all the marketing of all the businesses in town, like right there in your inbox. You're gonna see it. You're gonna, even if you throw it away, you're gonna look through it. And
Yes,
one day you're gonna be actually excited, waiting for that marketing package to arrive to your inbox, because that's the day that you need Rondi
there you
into for your Medicare, or any other business. So I love that you said that, because sometimes people think that um, the old way of doing things doesn't work anymore, and actually it still works. It still works, and I love that. So you just mentioned that you are growing in hiring people, bringing new members to your team. What qualities are you looking for in a team member, and how do you plan to maintain your agency with that personal touch? Because, and I will explain my question. The meaning or the purpose for my question later. But, well, how you do that?
that has been really hard for me. Let me just say, um, I have to spend time with, well, in my job, like right now, I do 1099s for employees, and I want to spend time with them. And I'll say, this is a trial for both of us. Okay. Let's be honest
Yeah.
here. You gotta want to help people. You gotta have a good phone manner. You have to be patient with people. You want to, and you don't need to be putting in hundreds of hours to do that. You just need to do the right thing with your time and use your time wisely. And do you want to get your Medicare license? Because I can't have people on the other end of the phone not licensed answering questions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like my assistant, she's fantastic and she has to get her license in January, but until then, she cannot go into people's files and answer questions about. So I need someone who eventually wants to go into this business, or you can go into this business in many ways. You can be like me and on your own, or you can be with me as a license only agent, and you get paid based on sales that you make, so you don't have to start your own business. There's so many ways
Mm-hmm.
in, but I need people who honestly in their heart want to work with seniors.
Yeah.
And you could tell by the look on someone's face, right? When you tell them what they have to do, if they're going to be in it or not, like in it to win. And it's based too, like on their family life.
Yeah.
It's not so much what they did before.
That's definitely somebody that resembles your your core values, and that's so
Yes,
important. Yeah.
core values
I
is so important.
totally agree. Oh, Rondi, we are almost at the end of this, but before we finish and we go to talk about a little bit of your book, um, tell us, what's the vision for the future? Like, where do you see Goodman Insurance Solutions in the next 5 years, and what impact do you hope to make into the Medicare insurance community?
I'm excited about the future. My daughter, she's 20. She's thinking about coming into business with me because I would like my family in this, because you can't leave a Medicare business to someone that's not licensed. So she wants to do that. And then I would like to build my business to like a couple of thousand people in my book of business of clients, and that I have people like myself working and helping them, and that I'm steering the ship. And then in addition, I want to mentor other women that want to get into my business. I've already started doing that so that they don't make the mistakes that I made. Women or men, really, but I want to be able to give back to that insurance community, be involved in Washington, D.C. on a level that I can't do now. Like there are people above me that go to D.C. and say, this is why we need Medicare agents. I want to be able to give back.
That's fantastic. I love that. I love that mission. So now talking about your book, tell us all about it. I'm so excited about that.
So I wrote this book, not to be famous. I wrote it for my clients, how to avoid Medicare mistakes, because every story in the book is someone that made a mistake and how we fixed it. Sometimes you can't fix it. You can only help make it as best as it can be. So it's really how to avoid mistakes. So people come to my seminars and then they book appointments with me. One lady just called me. She's like, yeah, I've been referring to your book about this and that. And it made me feel really good because it's now like a promotional piece for me to give to
Mm-hmm.
new clients or
Yeah.
potential. And it's a real good, easy primer on how not to make a mistake. There's a lot of these books out here. There's another woman who's really famous that just came out with one and it's great. It's like really thick. But this one's just short and sweet and how not to make it mistake. And I already have volume two. I've been writing down that I can come out with.
Yay.
Yeah, like because every year there's a new mistake that could be made. So next
Yes.
year I'll do volume two.
That's fantastic. I love it. So where people can get in touch with you.
So you can get in touch with me on you can go to my website, goodmaninsurancegroup.com. My phone number's on there. You can text me or set up an appointment on there. You can find me on Facebook, Rondi Goodman. You can find me on TikTok as the Medicare Navigator. You can Google Rondi Goodman and it should come up Medicare.
That's
So that you
fantastic.
can read, and then you can just directly call me. I answer my phone, believe it or not. A lot of people are like, oh, I didn't expect you to answer the phone, but I really do because if I can get it done, I want to get it done. Let's get
Exactly.
you done and taken care of.
I love it. Yes. And then your book, they can pick it up on Amazon. Hey,
Yeah,
my Medicare Pips mistakes. I'm going to place this link into the description of this podcast episode, and people can definitely kind of like reconnect with you and reach out
that's
to talk
great.
about more in detail about their Medicare needs. I am so grateful for your time and for coming in and talking to us and my audience and explaining what you do, what Medicare is, and about talking all things about your business. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. This was great.
Thank you. I finally found you out.
Woo!
Better late than never. But thank you so much. Until the next one. You guys, don't forget to unlock your potential and be fearless. See you in the next. Bye bye.